As a moving business owner, your day starts with a plan. But what happens when your movers don't show and that plan falls apart? Last minute no-shows. You're left to bootstrap, jumping in as an extra body. Yet sometimes, even that's not enough. This isn't just a disruption, it's a barrier to your business growth. Introducing Moving Force, your on-demand moving team. With Moving Force, say goodbye to no-shows and hello to peace of mind. With reliable, on-demand staff ensures you're never undermanned, turning your operational nightmares into a thing of the past. Moving Force, where every day is moving day and every move is smooth. Empower your business and keep growing without missing a beat. Join Moving Force today and move forward with confidence.
The damn rookie on this thing.
All right, y'all. Mornings. Damn, I was about to start it off with the title. All right, yeah. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Mornings with Movers. I am Dwight Mack with Moving Force, your on-demand team for every move. We got Ryan Marsh in the building. You already know, Super Move. But, Ryan got his own thing going on too, but, we're going to say Super Move. Yeah, Ryan, how's everything been going?
Things are good, man. Just getting ready to ramp up. We've got conference season that is upon us already. So just as fast as it ends, it begins here. So starting the end of this month and kind of ripping all the way through, I think May is my last one. I think I'm off the road like May 19th or May 20th.
That's what you say now, y'all. We know, Ryan.
Yeah, that's what I say now, but May, June, July, I'll probably be back on the road again, right? You never know.
Right.
Wherever it's needed.
He'll fill up that calendar again.
It's full. It's good. This is going to be a tough year. Last year was a really, really good year, and we were, I don't want to say everywhere, but we were a lot of places. But this year is going to be a little bit more defined, or more redefined, and so we'll be at a couple different events this year, and it's gonna be a good time. But just planning and preparing, man, it's hard to sit here and do that. I'm more of one to be out in the wild with the movers, so to have to sit in a room for weeks and not get out and visit the people that's tough on me. That's really, really hard for me to do.
Yeah, no, and that makes absolutely sense. I get it. We're Moving Force is going to try to get out there best way possible this year as well. But to talk about the topic of the day, honestly, I've been talking to a lot of moving companies recently, and everybody's slow. To be expected, January. But, we're talking about more the Northeast, not so much the Southeast. But the thing that I keep hearing, and some people may say they're busy, some people may say they're not busy, but the true root of it is, one, how big are you as a company? Because you could be busy with 2 trucks in this time of year and just say, oh, I'm smack busy. And then you can have 6, 7 trucks. And you could be like, oh, well, 4 of them are just sitting around. So it really just depends on how big you are. But the root of the issue is, what are you doing for marketing? Everybody's recently, in the last few months has been shutting down third-party lead providers because, one, they're either getting too expensive or they're sharing with a whole lot more people than they used to share with. Or you're just not getting the ROI that you used to getting from them. And so now you kind of like just shut off your whole faucet of marketing for the most part because, we use those leads to get the phones ringing. We use those lead providers for some sort of SEO because they rank us on their website as a mover in their area. So now that you kind of shut them off, now that you're not doing postcards because you feel like you're getting to too many empty houses and you're not seeing an ROI from that. And then, the question comes down to who's running your marketing. And they're like, oh, well, I got a guy that's X amount of miles away. Cool. What is he doing? Likelihood he's probably doing SEO because that's what most marketing guys are doing for companies nowadays. You see some companies saying, oh, well, we could do your Facebook social media marketing. And, I've always had a frown on that part because, social media marketing, I just feel like it's not really for average consumer. It's not like it's Home Depot where, you go on Home Depot website and oh snap, they pop up on your Facebook.
Do you think it's for moving companies that are slow right now, or we hear a lot of people, oh, it's the norm, right? It's January, it's this, it's that. Do you think it's a marketing issue? Or do you think it's a diversification issue, or a combination of both?
It's
'Cause
it's a
I'm hearing some things different. I don't say different things on the streets, but the moving companies that are basically local household goods movers, yeah, there's quite a few I'm talking to that are pretty flat. There are a few that I've talked to that, have booked quite, I mean, for a good dollar amount for the size of the organization for January already, and they're already booking into the first week of February. But the ones that I'm working with that are like truly thriving are the ones that are they're knee deep in commercial work right now. This is like FF&E, OS&E. This is hotel install prime time right now until like March.
Need a last-minute fill-in or facing an unexpected injury among your moving staff? No worries, Moving Force has you covered. Our app instantly connects you with trusted, professional movers who are ready to step in and handle urgent jobs whenever you need them. With our reliable network of vetted experts, you'll never be left short-handed. What are you waiting for? Download the app now and sign up for free now. Your stress-free move is just a tap away.
Yes, it plays a part. Diversification plays a part. But if you're not ready, don't diversify. You're only digging a shallow hole to cause more problems by digging another shallow hole. Understand your market to the fullest. Exhaust every marketing lead that there is. If you don't know how to look for marketing leads, definitely reach out to me. We actually rebranded Max Moving Training. So now it's called Moving Force Academy. Loving it. So all underneath one roof, all still delivering the top product to make sure that you guys are thriving in your market. But it's just underneath one roof now. Now, ideally, again, understand your marketing. You should have a marketing ROI spreadsheet or your CRM if you have a CRM. Some people are still shying away from CRMs. Don't know why. But those that are taking in the CRM, understand your reports. Set a time frame every month, maybe towards the end of the month, where you're like, hey, how did we do marketing wise this month? Oh, we got X amount of leads from this person. We got X amount of leads from this person or source. Okay, how did we close those leads? They didn't close those leads. That one was a bad lead. That one was a good lead. They already found movers. Understand the reason why the leads were bad, because you can't just say they're bad. If they found movers, was there a speed to lead issue? Are your reps getting to the leads fast enough? Is it your process, your system? Oh, well, the lead came in at 11 p.m. last night, and we called them at like 9 a.m., 9:30, and they already said they had movers. Speed to lead. Regardless, is that time and age where AIs are answering phone calls if you don't have a VA. You can have auto responses going out. Hey, we got your lead request. We are currently closed right now, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna give you a call first thing in the morning. If you want to do it that way. But like I said, you got inbound AI callers. You got outbound AI callers now. So you can utilize both to your benefit to get to that lead as within 5 minutes of it coming in.
Instantly, not even 5 minutes anymore. When that phone rings, somebody's picking up and someone's walking you through a process. And depending on how eager your salespeople are or how wild your organization wants to run, if you can have that call on a Saturday, Sunday, or whatever, warm transfer to your sales rep. I see it all the time. It's a company that I've worked with quite a bit. They talk about not getting enough leads. And then when they get the leads, they're just not getting much with them, and business has been slow. So I just kind of been watching and monitoring what was going on. They had 4 leads come in on Saturday, right? So I just happened to look on Monday afternoon just to see, hey, were those leads actually actioned, or are they still kind of sitting in the pipeline? And those leads were still sitting there at noon on Monday. 4 quality leads. Now, could they have been actioned on Saturday if they had an aggressive salesperson, did a warm transfer, somebody following up? Sure. but they didn't. So Saturday morning rolls around. Now you've got Sunday. Now you've got Monday at noon. If I'm a customer that calls a place on Saturday at noon and I don't even get a call back yet. Now it's Monday, a business working day, and it's noon. I don't get a call back. I've probably already secured or have other appointments with my mover. But I'm seeing a lot of people not reacting quickly to leads. They're just sitting in a queue for 24, 48 hours. And that's just, in today's age, that's not going to cut it at all.
And I get it. You want to have your sales team off maybe Saturday and Sundays. Because I don't even think we had our reps coming on Saturdays, truthfully. But no, yeah, you might want to have your reps off Saturday and Sundays because you want to keep it a straight, 5-day work week. But business, actually, no, I had my sales reps come in on Saturday. They were not happy because it was like, oh, it's Saturday, it's slow, but at times, but
with technology now, I mean, you don't need to necessarily report to an office. And if you have a hot lead and a voice agent qualifies that lead as, hey, this is something you should be taking a call on, send it to me, unless I'm at a wedding or whatever. Again, it depends on how aggressive you are. I know my first 7 or 8 years in the industry, like it was Saturday, Sunday, like it was 24/7. I don't recommend running yourself into the ground by any means, but you got hot leads, especially this time of the year, $10,000-$15,000 moves a clip. I'm all over that personally, but
yeah, and
you can't let them sit, man.
And if you're still that person who wants to have people come to the office, completely understandable. You just have to manage the schedule properly. There are people now that they're making it so much easier for you with call centers who will answer your leads immediately. You'll probably get about 1 to 2 reps that are dedicated. They can split time. They can make sure your leads are answered. And their sole job is if they don't book, they don't get paid. So now you know that, hey, you're measuring 2 ROIs. You're measuring the ROI of the marketing, and you're measuring the effectiveness of these sales reps that aren't necessarily yours, but at the same token, they're only getting paid if they book. So, and then it takes out the training side of it too, because you don't have to train them. They're not your employees. So it just comes down to how many hats you don't have to wear anymore as a sales manager, or you don't have to wear as a marketer. Per se. Well, you might still have to wear a marketing hat, but understand the process of marketing. So again, if you guys are interested in Moving Force Academy, okay. So can you see my screen, Ryan?
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna blow my screen up here.
So again, our marketing program is designed to help you be more effective in your marketing and get the best ROI out without having to consult with all of these different firms and trying to piece it together. It's understanding that there's so much more marketing than word of mouth. That, I can't put my finger in it. That irks my soul. Sometimes people are just like, well, majority of my marketing is word of mouth, but we're kind of slow. Okay. And I'm not one to insult someone's strategy, but it's diversification. And it's not diversification just in services, it's diversification in your marketing. So whether you're using social media and you're doing posts, or you're using, and these posts can be TikToks, these posts can be Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever your ideal customer or avatar is, you want to be marketing. Now, your marketing can't just be marketing, it has to be your brand. Brand means a whole lot more than just, oh, well, hey, let's put our truck up there and hope that we get customers because we told them that we can be your fast, efficient, we're your number one best mover in the area. No. Brand is everything. It's your color. It's your it's the way your culture is. It's everything that goes into what's your makeup of your company. So marketing a truck is the same thing another moving company is doing. What makes you unique? SEO, yes. There's a lot of SEO companies, and I would recommend that you probably have somebody that's really good at it. Rotate Digital, Mover Search Marketing. There's a lot of other guys coming on the platform now that seem to be really pretty good.
Mission Disrupt. And then Google Ads.
You know, some of these companies already have Google Ads, PPC already embedded in their company. Some you might have to, you know, outsource your PPC, but you want to make sure that your PPC is running properly. Now, again, all these trainings are going to be practical steps you can put into place right away. But if you feel like SEO and PPC are kind of like out of your wheelhouse and you're a mover, you're a moving owner, you're running a business, you don't have time to be thinking like a marketer to see what works and what tests, A/B testing, all this other stuff. Hire a professional to do that part of it. But you don't need a professional for everything. It'll cut into your margins. Paid lead providers. They are still valid to keep your phones going. Keep your phones ringing, especially if you got an office team. You don't want people sitting on their hands just, oh, well, we only have 5 leads coming the whole day and we got 2 reps. And your phones aren't ringing. So, you know, now you're realizing, oh, well, I'm going to have to let somebody go because I know that I'm not making money and I'm spending way more than I'm making. And you can't charge for so much more than what you've already been charging because obviously the customers aren't going to pay it. So get these phones ringing. We had average about 400 to 450 in leads a month. So our reps were always busy and the phones were always inbound calls as well as leads coming in. So it was kind of like, okay, hey, we had a great day. If we was able to book 2 to 3 moves, maybe even 4 moves in a day, it was a win. I was like, all right, hey, we keeping our schedule full. Postcards. Don't shy away from postcards. There are some really amazing companies out there that's doing postcards. I still say USA Home Listings is probably going to be the top one. But there are, I think, Mover Leads as well. And there's some other companies out there as well that's still doing some really good stuff with postcards and making sure that the homes are being filtered so that the postcards aren't going to empty homes.
Yeah, don't sleep on the postcards. I personally love postcards work tremendous in our market. And we didn't have access back when I was in the industry to the USA Home Listings or moving letters, Matty Mailers at US or at movingletters.ai. We didn't have access to that stuff. It was all, you know, sourcing our own, printing out labels, and we had our really cool postcards that were in the shape of a home and manually doing that 2 hours on every Monday. And it works, man. We crushed it with postcards.
Well, now, you know, you got to be more proactive. You got to be doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with these postcards. And
we did it every Monday. we did batches every Monday. That was it. I didn't have time to do every single day. You get 150, 200 postcards out on a Monday. Like for our area, that was good. You know, we get 10, 12 phone calls out of that. You know, and then we'd close 65% of those. So it was well worth the couple $100 spent to ship those cards out, you know, to get some really good some move revenue coming in.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly, guys, we have organic marketing. You know, building long-term relationship in your market, whether you're going to these local events, whether you're going to apartment complexes and posting flyers at the apartment complex, like with little rip off. You know, you can still beat the pavement out there in this world. For your local market. Now, you don't want to be driving around because a lot of people are using the phone in their hand nowadays. So if they can Google you, they're going to try to Google you the best way possible. Now, email campaigns, don't forget, those are still valid. You know, you still got companies like Moversville who will do your email campaigns for you, which brought in a lot of repeat business and new business as well. Because you're basically, after you're servicing a move, you're sending out emails, doing re-engagement campaigns. You're doing so much with the power of emails. And you're getting emails when you're getting the leads. So if you're just not utilizing those emails, I don't know what you're doing. Those are gold. And like I already mentioned, community engagement. So again, these are all practical things that you could be implementing within the next 6 months to make sure that your marketing is really dialed in. Don't be afraid of change. Your business might have been up for 30 plus years or whatever the case may be, and you're blaming it on the housing market right now. You're blaming it on the government and why, you know, the people aren't moving, etc. And we can make all the excuses in the world. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be about results.
Last minute crisis? We've got you covered. When your moving staff is short, Moving Force steps in. Instantly connect with a network of trusted movers ready to handle the job. Fast sign-ups, trusted network, reliable solutions. Don't let last-minute issues slow you down. Help is just a tap away. Download the app and sign up for free today.
Those are the worst calls that I jump on where, blaming economy, blaming who's in office, blaming whether it's blue or drives me crazy. They spend all their time focusing on why they're not getting business. And if they would just focus a fraction of time on how to get gain additional business, life would be so much better. Those are the worst calls that, well, the housing market's down. Nobody's moving. Well, if you were in these 5 different lines of business, these lines are popping off right now. Like you have all your eggs in one little basket. So when the eggs aren't producing, you don't have much to eat. You got to be able to get eggs from multiple different chickens here.
And the other thing is, you're never too big to pivot. Well, maybe. Let me take that back. Some of these companies that got 25 trucks and you're tied to a van line or whatever the case. Maybe it might be a little challenging.
I'll give you an instance of a company that's got 60 plus locations and does ridiculous amounts of business, and they are tied to a van line. They pivoted 7-8 months ago, and it's working extremely well for them. This is a company that never did local moves. 60 plus locations, top dog in their van line, never did local moves. They pivoted, kind of created a local brand, local moving piece, we'll say, and it's taken off really, really well for them. That was a piece of pie that they never cared to get. But obviously with interstate slowing down, with the housing piece, they had to pivot as well, and they did it, knocked out of the park. So I don't think it's ever too late to pivot, even regarding your size. I don't think it's too late. But I think it'd be harder if you're smaller to pivot than if you are larger with more experience and more resources, more manpower, and what have you. You can start testing out some different things versus, if you just have one truck and one trailer, it might be a little bit more difficult, but each their own on that.
Hey, John. So I do see your question in there. Great. Thank you for tuning in. So it depends where you are. I see that your question is how I'm trying to get a profile on Moving Helper, but they denied my application for whatever reason. What is a good comparison to them? I wouldn't even compare them to anyone. Moving Helper is a great start. Never take anything away from them, but they're not meant for legitimate movers that want to grow, movers that want to expand. So any other website that might be considered a competitor of theirs are already looking for licensed movers that have, all their stuff together in order, workers' comp, general liability, you name it, to basically be able to run a full operation, because they want to make sure that the clients that they're providing you are clients that aren't, cheapskate clients. Let's just say that. Clients that you don't have to feel like that's going to probably rip you off if you do a job or whatever the case is. So, and everything is monitored. Now, again, Moving Helper is a great platform, but the thing is, and I've always been wary of this, and I don't mind mentioning it because we're on a podcast, we talking how we talking. I've always feared that if my guys ever did a 10-hour job on Moving Helper and the customer decided not to give me the code at the end or payment code, there was no way that my guys were going to get paid. And we couldn't argue it, because that was part of the policy. That was part of the rules that you read on Moving Helper, that, hey, if the customer don't give you the payment code, that means that they weren't satisfied with the service. What do you mean? Did we not move their stuff from one house to another house? Did we not spend 10 hours of our life here? At least let us resolve it once we get payment, if there was an unhappy situation.
Yeah.
But again, it's a good starting point if you are just starting out as a moving company and you want to, try to get some income coming in so that you can have money to pay for this expensive industry now, because it used to be cheap. But now with all the regulations of, oh, you need a truck to get insurance. You need to have your certain limits so you can get your local license. It's getting very, very expensive. When I started with $500 and I was like, oh, snap. I turned it into like 4 million by the time I ended. But it was just like, oh, snap. I can get in for this cheap. Now I'll try that. Yeah, okay.
No. No, I say starting a business, especially in states that are highly regulated, it's going to take a lot of cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cash flow. I'm sure you're still going to get the success stories of I started with $1,000 and then now I'm here, but not like it was many, many years ago where you could, for $1,000, a pickup truck, a trailer, you could really catapult yourself, but totally difficult now. But you had a lot of bad apples ruin it for the bunch, right? So,
Are you in search of a side gig? Get ready to land the ultimate side hustle. Don't let this opportunity slip away. Join Moving Force as a mobile mover. Enjoy the freedom to set your own hours, earn excellent income, and be your own boss. Apply now. Download the app for free, available on the App Store. It's time to make a move, both figuratively and literally.
So John, to your question is, it just depends on what state you're in, as far as not where you're located, but what state your moving company is in. So like, are you close to being licensed? Are you licensed? If you are licensed, then, there's a lot of opportunities out there. You have Porch Moving Group, which is a combination of like 3 different services. And there's always work on there, in a sense, depending on your market. It just depends on how organized you are. Do you have your workers' comp in place? Do you have your general liability in place? Do you have your auto and your cargo in place? Are you guys in uniform? Because that's a big requirement. Like, we're not trying to see.
Are you crossing state lines where you need a tariff and you need arbitrate and you need all that stuff? I think that's probably the biggest thing that I see with a lot of newer companies. They're doing interstate moves, but they're not operating the correct way with it. They're pricing it out by the hour. They're looking at what it takes, to load the truck, to drive the 8 hours, to unload the truck, to drive back empty 8 hours. I mean, they're going to get popped. They're going to get fined.
I agree with that. There is a reason why there is tariffs in place for stuff like that. Now, the thing is, I don't know how, honestly, I'll be honest, I don't know how to interstate cross the state line tariff work per se. I do remember that there was a weight-based table, or what do you call it? One of those computing tables where you basically would have a break-even point where after you get to a certain point or a certain load amount, the rate per cube drops.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the fun of creating one of those things. Can't say I still understand it personally, but
once you start talking breakpoints and all that stuff, even all the years I spent, I'd still get a little confused, right? If it was 8,000 pound shipment, you're using $54.80 a hundredweight, but if it ends up being 8,400 pounds, that's the break point. It actually jumps to a different rate, but it was estimated. So now if the weight goes, I had this case happen, the weight actually goes lower than what was projected. The rate went higher. It actually cost the person moving more money with a little bit less weight because it dipped out of that break point and went back into the normal 7,500 pounds.
I think that's
category.
Where they're giving a discount because it's more weight. They're like, oh, well, since you're making the trip more worth it for us, we're going to lower the cost. But if you're not making the trip more worth it for us, now we're going to have to raise that cost.
Yeah. I see most startup moving companies don't realize what it takes to get into interstate business. They just don't know. I don't feel like that they're intentionally doing it illegally. They just don't know, you know, and I learned a lot of hiccups with my business. I was trying to do everything right, doing all my research, but there were still a few pieces that we opened up that I'm like, ooh, I'm not necessarily 100% compliant here. But I didn't know until talking to other restaurant owners of, hey, I actually need to have this. And they're like, you don't have that? I'm like, no. They're like, how are your doors open? But again, it wasn't because I was trying to cheat the system. I just generally didn't know.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, John, definitely seek me out on Facebook. I'll definitely give you some advice. Again, my name on Facebook is the same name here, Dwight Mack. And we can go from there. But keep understanding your marketing. This was the whole part of this episode is understand your marketing, understand the ROI behind it. If you need help understanding the ROI behind it and all the opportunities you're missing out on, reach out. Don't be afraid if you've been in business for too long to pivot, to make a change, to taking a little bit of advice. There's been people in the industry for so long that once they took in this piece of advice, they was like, why didn't I try this a long time ago? So yeah, don't be afraid to continue to grow. You're always growing every day. But we are at the top of the episode, y'all. This episode went by fast as always, but it's always therapeutic. Ryan, if you want to say anything before we take off.
No, man, I think I'm good. I can't believe it's Thursday already. I'm just thankful for Verizon that they finally got. I know you're not with Verizon, so I don't want to say the V word. But yeah, yesterday, like literally everything. You want to talk about being a little bit of a panic. I'm just like, man, my phone is quiet. It hasn't rang in hours. Like, what's going on? I just happen to look down. I go to send a message. Nothing's going through. I'm like, what do we got going on? But yeah, Verizon being down for me from 11 till about 8 o'clock last night, 7:30 was crazy. You don't realize how much you use this damn thing for everything. I was basically Wi-Fi calling people through Facebook when I got to a place. Like, so crazy. But
I hear that.
I'm about to invest in a CB radio here coming up.
But all right, y'all keep crushing it out there. Keep over delivering, making sure that you're filling up your schedule. You're keeping you guys fed. No man left behind. And we'll see y'all next Thursday. Keep crushing it.